Hello? Hello in there? Mr. Creepy fella, you still in there?
No, thank you. We don't need any.
Well, we all figured you must be lonely.
No,
in there,
seriously,
so
we don't
stop
need
by,
anything
wish you
of
Merry
that.
Christmas.
I'm fine with
We
not
don't
doing
bite very
anything you want
much.
to do.
Roscoe, the German Shepherd, he
Yes,
might,
that's very nice. Now go away.
Good unless you come out.
I would literally rather
in
do
there?
anything else.
Well, time to get her out, boys. Hit it.
Wait, what?
Merry Christmas!
Ugh, what the fuck? Go away.
One more time, boys. Let him hear you. Don't let him get away.
Get away? You're in front of my damned house. Oh, God damn it. I don't know how many times I have to tell you, but I want you gone.
Oh, come on, mister. Where's your sense of holiday joy? Come on, join us.
Okay, I'm done with you people. Hudson, Aurelio, feed! Try to outrun those, you Felice Nave dunces! Those gargoyles were a damned good investment. Oh, I didn't realize you let yourself in. Ah, well, look who's back in search of secrets. Welcome, my fair degenerates, to the weird and the wicked, your little haunt away from home. That place where the shadows have stories, where the fire whispers you secrets, and where your favorite spooky uncle has a whole hell of a lot to say. So pull up a chair, let the fire warm your bones, and keep a careful eye on Edgar over there. He's grumpy. Tonight we're peeking through the glitter and the tinsel to uncover the origins of Christmas. Yes, Christmas. That season of lights, warmth, and apparently endless carolers banging at my door. To many, it's the time to celebrate the birth of Christ. To others, it's all about getting what Santa promised them under the tree. But what most people forget, or were never told in the first place, is that Christmas did not begin as the holiday we recognize today. In fact, most of what we associate with Christmas has very little to do with the Christian celebration at all. The symbols, the rituals, the traditions people swear are timeless and sacred were quietly borrowed, absorbed, folded neatly over something far older and far more terrifying. Pagan customs, seasonal rites, survivalist traditions. As the Christianization of Europe marched forward, these practices weren't erased so much as repurposed. Sometimes to soothe newly converted peoples, sometimes to placate very stubborn, very frightening locals, and sometimes, quite simply, to smooth over the total cultural demolition required for a stable Roman Empire. All in service of peace, of course. Because long before nativity scenes and the midnight mass, winter was not a season of joy. It was a season of fear, a season wrought with mystery, a time marking the death of the old year and the uncertain birth of the new one. The days grew short, the cold crept in, and people gathered not to celebrate, but to survive. And with that in mind, let's talk about the ever so iconic Christmas tree. That proud evergreen standing in your living room, dragged inside, propped upright, and dressed in lights and ornamentation. Kind of like one of the forest folk doing drag to remind you of your New Year commitments. Because realistically, that's kind of what it is. Long before it became festive decor, The evergreen was a symbol of defiance. When everything else withered, when the fields lay dead, and when the world seemed frozen in place, the evergreen endured. To the ancient peoples, that mattered. It wasn't just a plant, it was proof. Proof that life hadn't dared surrendered yet. That the sun would return again. That the world hadn't ended, no matter how much it felt like it did. So they brought these trees inside, not for aesthetics, not for tradition, but as a talisman. A reminder that life persists, that something green still lives, even in the heart of winter's teeth. Of course, somewhere along the way, we decided the best way to honor this sacred symbol of survival was to cover it in tinsel, huge glass baubles hanging from its limbs, and place a glowing star on top, as if to say, "Congratulations on surviving the apocalypse. Now stand very still while we decorate you in whatever way we want." And speaking of decoration, what's a tree without lights? Eh? Little flames flickering in the dark, candles at first, now electric bulbs, tiny suns trapped in glass, mocking the frozen gloom outside. Candles weren't just pretty, you see. They were more than decoration. They were protection. Protection against the dark spirits, the restless dead, and the wandering fates that prowled winter's long nights. Picture it. A single candle on a windowsill, a small beacon in the endless dark. Neighbors saw it, strangers saw it, and they knew here lives someone awake, aware, alive. And then came the electric lights. Oh, how far we've fallen. From warding off spirits with fire to a twinkling distraction that we use to completely disregard the fact we're drinking cocoa that was made with water. Ugh. Though, I admit, there is a kind of magic to them, even now. Flickering, dancing, threatening to ignite. Or perhaps, to call something a little stranger to our threshold. So, like the lights, the tree itself are not just pretty. They're a reminder that life persists, that the darkness can be held at bay, and that we, the living, are still stubborn enough to shine. Moving on, another aspect of the Christmas season that is frightfully out of place: gift-giving. The very heart of Christmas itself, or so they tell us. Tiny boxes, ribbons, glitter, and the occasional taxidermied squirrel. But before the mall Santas and the online wish lists, this tradition had its dark side. Not a metaphorical gnashing teeth, but very, very real danger. You see, in many pagan cultures, the exchange of gifts was not necessarily generosity. It was protection, appeasement, and of course, sometimes a little bit of blackmail. Offerings to spirits, tokens to neighbors, bribes to keep the winter from devouring your crops, a loaf of bread, a few coins, a carved figurine. All tiny bargains with fate itself. And that, my little monsters, is the heart of gift-giving. Connection, protection, the sly acknowledgement that in the dead of winter, we need each other. Even if survival is just surviving that one weird ant's fruitcake. Ugh. And of course, speaking of the generosity of the human spirit, a little human magic we cling to in the cold, in the dark, and perhaps, just perhaps, to keep the real monsters at bay. And now, but of course, the pièce de résistance, the greatest mystery of Christmas. We now, of course, speak of Santa, good old Saint Nick, the jolly man in red, sliding down chimneys, delivering out sugar and moral judgment in equal measure. But let's not be fooled by the modern suit and sleigh. The real Nicholas was far more interesting. A 4th century bishop in Myra, a man of fervent faith, known for secretly giving out gold to the poor under the cover of night. Over the centuries, Nicholas became a legend, stitched together with folklore from across Europe. The Dutch brought him as Santa Claus, riding a white horse and doling out presents on the 6th of December. The Germans added their Krampus companions, creatures of shadow and discipline, reminding children that not all gifts come without consequence. And finally, across the Atlantic, the Americans fused him with elves and sleighs and reindeer, oh my! But here's the part most people hilariously forget. Our modern, candy-bringing, red-suited friend St. Nicholas has roots far older, far darker, and far more Nordic than anyone would ever dare admit. Long before the churches took their hold, before the nativity scenes, and before the cheerful jingling of sleigh bells, there was Odin. Yes, that Odin. The one-eyed wanderer, the god of war, wisdom, the dead, and basically everything fucking else if you've read the Eddas at least halfway through. During the long, freezing nights of Yule, the Norse believed Odin rode across the winter sky on his 8-legged horse, Sleipnir, bestowing gifts or omens upon those he passed. Children would often leave out their boots, filled with straw or carrots for Sleipnir, and awaken to find them replaced with coins or small treats. Starting to sound familiar? That, my dear degenerates, is the genesis of Santa's gift-giving. A shadow of Odin's nightly rides, transformed over the centuries into the benevolent figure we think we all know. As for the reindeer, well, Sleipnir had 8 legs, a wild galloping steed of the sky. Add some imagination, artistic flair, and a pinch of commercial optimism, and voila! 8 flying reindeer, forever tethered to the winter night. Santa Claus, my dear viewers, is not just a jolly man in red. He is a remnant of an echo of a god, softened and sweetened over the centuries, hiding the fury and the frost of the original winter sky rider beneath a velvet coat. And that, my dear degenerates, is there we have it. The candles are flickering, the evergreens are standing tall, gifts exchanged with love or a touch of fear. A jolly old bishop who's really the echo of a one-eyed Norse god. Christmas in all its glitter and warmth is really a bit of a patchwork, a quilt stretched from centuries of superstition, survival, and human stubbornness. However, if there is one thing to take away, even in the darkest, coldest nights, we mere mortals have always found a way to shine, to protect each other, to cling to life, and of course, not to forget, to play a little magic along the way. Then again, some shadows are darker than others, and for those who misbehave, well, not all winter visitors bring candy. Krampus. He'll be joining us soon, my little monsters. And trust me, he doesn't appreciate being outshined by tinsel and twinkling lights. So light your candles, trim your trees, and maybe keep an eye on the shadows, because the long night is often full of stories, and some of them like to bite. Until next time, my little darlings, stay warm, stay curious, and remember, there's always more to the story than what's written on the card. Until next time.